So right now this is the thing which we are going to make. If I'm going to click on increment, the count will get increment. If I click on decrement, the count will get decrement. In this video, we're going to know about use state hook, which is very important hook, and let's get started. So I will just add one heading. So let's add an h1. I will just say hello. Simply, I'll just return hello. Okay. So this message will be displayed on the screen. But yeah, if I refresh, I just got the hello on the screen. So right now, guys, I'm going to create a div, and inside this, I'm going to create two buttons. So I can say button into two. As I enter, the buttons will create it. One button will increase, so I will just give it plus, and one button is going to decrease, so I will give it minus. But if I go again, so I'm getting two buttons right over here. If I zoom this page, so you can just see plus minus buttons are available. So here at this point, I will create an h1 tag which will hold the values. So for example, the current value is 1. Let's take this h1 in below this view. So I will say alt and down arrow. And as I come here, I'm getting a button and I just put here the center tab. Okay. So I'm just trying to make it center. Okay. So it is in center. Fine. And we'll just add some BI tag also. Just adding break because we just want to know about the concept. So the break text patterns. Okay. So let's make it 4 times. Okay. Or let's make it around 3 times. So fine. You are getting a button. It is aligned properly in center. Right now, we just wanted to do that as the button clicks, as we click on plus, the count should get increased. So this happens using useState. So you can just see constant. We are just saying state. So this state is going to keep track of the value. This state variable will get update if any changes happens. So in set state, if I want to update any value based on click or any other event, then what I will do, I will just update using set state. Initial state, that means the first state what we want to keep, we can just give it over here. So we'll talk about this and let's start to make this, and it's very easy, guys, don't worry. So I'm going to explain you in a proper way from a beginner level accounts. Then I will say here inside square brackets, I will say count, comma. We're going to have another then, which is going to be set count. You can do any name, but mostly this will be really relatable. So count will just show the count and set count will update it. Okay. And here I'm going to say use state. As I click enter, it will automatically get imported. If it does not get import, you can just say import and it imports from use state from React. And here I will going to pass the initial state. For example, my initial states is 12. Okay. And as I do this, inside this h1 tag, I can just say inside curly brackets, I can just access the value using count. Okay. If I come on the page and check our project, so it will be 12. Okay, the initial stage. So if I just say the initial stage, I want it like, let's make it 100. So if I come again back, so it will get automatically set to 100. The initial state. Okay. So it is the initial state. But by default, I want the initial state to be 0 because anything is not clicked. So it should be 0. So I will just skip 0. Okay. So 0 is displayed. As I click on plus, it should get increment. So we are having a button and here we are going to use a method called onClick. We will have a simple arrow function which will update the state. Okay, so to update this state, I will to create an arrow function and how we can update this variable. This variable is only used to update the changes. So I'm going to say set count. Inside parenthesis, I'm going to say count plus 1. Simple as that. On the button, I have just added one method which is onClick. And inside that, I have just added an arrow function and that arrow function. So how we can update? We can update using set count. I'm just saying count the previous value, whatever the previous value is, it stored it over here. Okay, the initial stage. So it will get updated by 1 plus 1. So let's try it. So if I just say here plus, then the changes you can just see it just updated from 0 to 1. The current state is 1. Right now it's 1. It has just updated from 0 to 1. If I click again plus, so what will happen? 1 plus 1. The current state is 2. If I click again, then it will become 3, then 4 and 5. Similarly, it should be minus also. It should be like 4, 3, 2, 1. It should move in the reverse order. So for this simple we can do is, so for this we can just say on click. I can just pass an arrow function. I can just say set count. And here I'm going to say count minus 1. Whatever the current count will be, it will get minus by 1. Okay. So let's see with an example. So if I just refresh the page, it will be by default. We have just set it to 0. So plus will increase, minus will decrease it. So it's quite simple. And here, what if I just set the initial stage as 100? Okay. So if I come on the page, it will be 100 by default. Now, if I increase the value, it will increase from 100 to whatever the next numbers upcoming. Okay. And if I just say minus minus, then it will be minus minus. If I just refresh the page, so 100 minus 1, it will become, so it will be 99. Okay. In this way. If I say plus plus, it will get increased to the positive side. And that's all about useState, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video, and if you like this video, please do like this video. I'm going to bring a lot of videos on the React and React hooks related to Modern Stack. How was this video? Let me know inside the comment section. Thank you, guys.